guys, welcome to the daily recap for, what is it, Friday the 17th of August 2018. Apologies for not being able to do any recaps this week. I was at my brother's wedding, which was a couple of 100 kilometers away from my place, and I left on Monday and I came back literally yesterday afternoon. So 4 days I wasn't able to trade, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm back again today. Now today was a semi-good day. In terms of the P&L, it was fine. It was $337, as you can see, realized. But the issue still is around this number of tickets. I've changed my, where is it? I've changed my hotkeys so that I now sell a quarter, or I cover a quarter rather than half. If you want to see what that looks like this. Share position times quarter, and I sell that the bid -2, so it's like a marketable limit order. And the cover quarter looks like this. Once again, position, quarter size, price, ask up to 2 cents over. So, you know, I'm not sure whether this is the best way of doing it, because obviously you've got to have more tickets, because what it does is every time you press cover or sell a quarter, it obviously executes a quarter of the existing size. So if you've got 1,000 shares, the first quarter, if you press it, it'll get rid, or it'll sell or cover 250 shares. That's a quarter of 1,000. You're left with 750. It won't then do another block of 250. It'll do a quarter of 750. So it's pretty much exponential. You'll probably never get to zero. In other words, I'm not sure this is the best way of doing it, but I need to manage my my number of tickets a bit better what I'm doing. So today we traded 3 stocks: MU, AMAT, and JWN. As you can see, it wasn't too bad. Some good wins, especially on JWN long and also AMAT long. So I don't know, maybe it's the market, maybe it's me, maybe it's just I'm spotting patterns better, but you know, I'm making more money going long. I mean, short, I lost big time today, you know. And MU, man, I've told myself over and over again, and I'll show you my my journal. I've told myself so many times, don't frickin' trade MU. You know, you'll see it most of the times. You know, haven't traded MU, another loss. There's been so many occasions where, you know, I've lost money on trading MU that I just told myself, don't trade the freaking stock. And I did it today, obviously, as well, and it was $140. So let me show you the trades. So let's go through MU first while we've got it on screen. There we go. So MU, I got caught in a short squeeze. I went short here, which was already about 45.80. The VWAP was at 46 cents. So I'm probably 30 cents away, right, from the VWAP, as you can see in my comment here. Now, I took, I think, 500 shares, which is too much, I would say, or even 1,000 shares, I don't remember, probably 500. Because 500 right there, because you're so far away from the VWAP, from your stop loss. You know, 30 cents times 50 is 150, right? So I'm pretty much setting myself up to is 150 bucks if this thing pulls back to VWAP. And obviously it short squeezed a lot of people, and I got out pretty much, you know, at VWAP, but I was still down 140 bucks, right? So MU, lessons from this is just don't trade the stock. I have a hard time reading it. I don't really get the pattern on it. It just moves volatile. It moves too volatile for me sometimes to actually understand or try and anticipate or react to. Never predict. So, you know, I am going to take this one off. I mean, going forward, there's no point putting on a watch list, because it's just one of these things that just don't work for me. Next up, we have AMAT. Now this I averaged twice up. I think I took 4 shares, 4 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I averaged up twice on this, and it's something that has got me into a lot of trouble in the past, averaging up or averaging down. I need to stop doing this because it's a very bad habit to get into, and it can cause you to definitely lose a lot of money very quickly. In this case, the first trade, so you can see AMAT. So even though it doesn't look like I lost a lot of money, I was, because it's minus $47 going short. So the short trades. This was the short one. This was another short, and this was another short. Okay, and this was the only long. This one may be the $300 odd, but the combination of these 3 short trades together made up $47 negative. Mind you, this, I don't know if you can see this, but there are 2 executions here where I averaged up, and I was 2,000 shares at this point. So I went short 1,000 shares, and then I added another 1,000 shares right here. Now this is from the previous short that I had. So don't look at this. This is what you need to look out for, right? I covered above the VWAP, and it probably broke down again. So it's one of these things. But the point is that you shouldn't be averaging up if you have too much of a position size, because it gets you into trouble. And whereas this was a good entry where I got in with 1,000 shares, the fact that you couldn't hold it, and we're talking like 80 cents, right? Oh, not 80 cents, probably about 50 cents. Call it 50 cents, and I was holding 1,000 shares. So that means that I would have been down $500. All right, this is a $500 had I covered at the stop loss. I didn't cover the stop loss. I covered higher than the stop loss. So the point being, I was probably down a lot more than $500 because the losses were evened out by the fact that this was a winning trade, this first one, and this was a winning trade. So these weren't very big wins, this third one and this first one, but this second one was a massive loss, right? Massive loss. And that wiped out whatever gains I made from these 2, and I was still negative. And then obviously this nice long came around, and just watching the 15-minute candles, the 5-minute candles, and the 1-minute candles definitely helps me in my approach. But what I still need to improve on is not ignoring the 1-minute candle as much as I have been. I virtually don't even look at it anymore. Like if you look at my setup looks like this. This is, I've got DAS across 2 screens, where I've got 4 other montages on another screen, but this is what I've got: 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. Now I mostly look at this now. It helps me tremendously to see longer trends, and it helps me to better kind of gauge stop losses and profit targets. But I've almost stopped using the 5-minute, and I virtually don't look at the 1 minute, and I probably should, because if you see something lining up on all 3, then you've got a pretty good chance of that signal working out in your favor. But that's something I need to work on as well. Right, and the last one is JWN, which is here. Now JWN was one of the better trades because of the fact that I was patient. There's about $200 here. The reason this worked out really well is because of patience. Now I'll go through the first 3 trades, but I took a 4th trade long. I held this for, what time did I get in? 10 o'clock till 11:45, almost 2 hours. What I've learned is I make more money when I'm patient with a good entry than when I do in the initial 20 minutes of trading, where I tend to lose initially. This MU loss was the first trade of the day, first cab off the rank loss. It happens to me a fair bit, and I don't know whether it's because I just don't have the experience yet to be able to read the volatility of the initial market open, or whether I just need to bide my time and maybe not wait 5 minutes, but maybe wait 15 minutes to see more of a trend. I don't know, something I need to have a think about, but certainly, you know, these three trades, I'm pretty sure this was a long, because it's above the VWAP. So I went long here and it dropped, loss. This one, I went long again and it did actually break up and I made a bit of money on this one. And the third trade, I think I shorted this, yep. I added to my position and I covered the VWAP and I made a bit of money on it, right? So this is all okay, but this is the best one. Now, I know these don't come along often, but there are, and I've seen this happen day in, day out. There are trades the stocks which are on our watch list, so these aren't, you know, some random stock or some random ticker I've picked. These are the stocks that match our metrics. So they've got an ATR of over 50 cents, they're in the right price range, they've got enough volume, you know, they've gapped up or gapped down, you know, they've got all the characteristics of a stock on a watch list. But you have to know which one to obviously go for. And obviously this in this case showed tremendous strength. You know, 3-5 minute candles, very long bodies, indicates a lot of strength. Shorter wicks, which means that the moves are quite solid, even more accentuating the strength. If you had long wicks on them, you'd have more decision, almost a doji, but you don't. You know, if this was a really long, if these wicks were really long on these, you know, you'd be thinking to yourself, wow, there's a lot of indecision. I mean, the price is going up and it's going down, very difficult to trade. But in this case, you know, relatively short wicks, I mean, good, really good opening range breakout. So anyway, that's it for today. I will be back on Monday. Actually, one more thing I wanted to show you. In my journal, which I'm happy to share with everyone, I built it from scratch in Excel. It covers pretty much you know, everything that I think any trader needs to see. Let me know if you're interested. It's on my blog, so visit my blog, daytradearcade.com, and have a look. I wanted to show you this. So since I went into sim, which are the yellow days, so the last 3 weeks, I would say not even 3 weeks, because I'm pretty much in trade most of this week. You know, I've had much better results, but mostly it stems from the fact that I've done two things differently. The first one is I've changed and I've started using the 15-minute chart, and that's helped me to eliminate a lot of the noise. And the second thing is that, well, a lead on from that is that it's allowed me to take more profit, because I've not been, you know, I've not been getting out of trades that quick. I've not been taking profit that quick. I've been letting kind of my winners ride, so to speak. But the other change is in my approach. Whereas before I was quite gung-ho, and I still am to a certain point, and I know that's one of my weaknesses. I mean, let me show you this. Have a look at the number of executions. 46, 18, but hit max loss. 16, but hit max loss. 120, absolutely ridiculous. 62, you know, 21, 32, 47, 48. I mean, these are staggeringly high numbers of tickets. Now, I need to do one of two things. I need to either believe in myself a bit more and not just get greedy or fearful, and let these things kind of, you know, take shape and actually let the trade work, or I need to change my hotkeys to not have quarter or a half, and just don't have a hotkey for it. In other words, don't have a hotkey for selling or for covering, but just do it manually down here. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's an option. I don't know. I'll see how things go. But anyway, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Cheers. Bye.